Thank you very much. And we're going to go straight back into the company presentations and hear from a gold company who are down in Colombia. When we first met the guys at Red Eagle Mining, they had made a discovery. They were looking to build a mine. They have done that, and they're back to tell us about their production and what they're doing. So over to Red Eagle Mines and Ian Slater, their CEO.
Hello, everybody. So Red Eagle Mining is a gold mining company in Colombia. We have 4 projects. The first one, we started production in January. So and we did this in 7 years since we bought the project. They made a grassroots discovery through the whole resource, PEA, feasibility, permitting, fundraising for the CapEx at the bottom of the market, and we built it. So last year in 2017, we spent the year developing the underground mine. We went into production in October, and we turned the plant on in January. And Santa Rosa is ideal place for a gold mine. We're about an hour and a half drive north of Medellin, which is a wonderful city these days. Don't believe what you see on Netflix. It's not true. It's 30 years ago. And I think you have to explain Colombia a little bit when you're in this part of the world. In America and Canada, there's no questions about the country. Everyone has made a lot of money there, and Colombia is the biggest partner of America and Canada in South America, the longest standing democracy there. So it really has the rule of law. You have independent judiciary. There's never been a nationalization. For decades now, we've had right-wing presidents, so it really is a wonderful place to do business, and we've never had any issue with any level of government. And we got our environmental permit in 1 year, which is hard to do anywhere in the world, I believe. So Santa Rosa, again, is an hour and a half on the main highway up from Medellin. Perfect infrastructure, so we're just off of that main highway. We're on the grid, so we have cheap hydropower. We're half an hour bus ride from the local community of about 50,000 people, so we have a workforce that we bus in. We're not remote in any way. And then our California and Vetus projects are up where Ventana was, for those of you who remember that company that Batista's AUX bought. So Vetus is a parallel district to California. It's about 10 kilometers away, and we control that entire district now. And California is where Ventana is, and we actually have four mines right adjacent to Ventana's property in California, which is now owned by Mubadala in UAE. So we're at about 800 tons per day right now, actually. The plan is to get to 900 tons next month and 1,000 tons per day in July, which is design, for phase 1. And then we have 100 square kilometers around Santa Rosa, actually, with lots of satellite deposits. So the plan is to build a second mine and deliver that ore to a central processing facility. We designed the mill to be expandable from 1,000 tons to 2,000 tons with pretty minimal effort. A lot of it is already designed for 2,000 tons. And we'll be at 45,000 ounces this year, because we're just in ramp up this year, and 65,000 ounces in 2019. And then we'll be in a position to double that as soon as we get one of the satellite deposits built up, probably in the following year. And we'll be developing our project up in California and Vetus as well. So the goal is to make a growth story with a multi-asset producer in Colombia. I think I gave my whole presentation on the first slide. This is our team. Most of them has been with us since the beginning, about 8 years ago. So for any of you who follow Red Eagle closely, you'll know in the last year, we really wanted to get this in production earlier, so we pushed hard, and we had the plant built a year ago, but the mine just wasn't ready. Underground mines, you really need a lot of development, have a lot of faces open. At the time, it took quite a long time to get through the oxides. There was saprolite, and putting a 5 by 4 meter tunnel through mud, it takes a long time. So once we got through that development, now we can do 30 meters a day in solid granite diorite, and we're in great ground. But it did take 2017 to get through there. So we built over 5 kilometers of ramps in 2017, drilled 20,000 meters of infill drilling on 10-meter centers to put ourselves in good shape when we started mining in October. Here's a map of the ramp up, and it really is to do with equipment. So our equipment's being delivered over the last 6 months, and a big ramp up was for May as we got some scoops delivered in April, and the next big ramp up will be in July when we get our final scoops delivered. Just the production profile. So those first 5 months are actual, and then it's that big ramp up happens in May and June, and then again in July. And our cash costs are about 750 tons, and all-in costs about 900 tons once we hit full production in July. The red here is the development meters, so we're pretty steady state now with our development, and the blue is the production, which has the two big jumps, which one has already happened. Here's our blast per day, actually, so it's a key statistic for us. So we're at about 25 blasts per day now in the mine, which really drives that tonnage, and we've been able to get us to 800 tons per day now. The grade averages about 4 grams per ton, which still is a bit off our feasibility study of 4.5 grams, but we're almost there, and it's gradually getting better. So we're already at cash flow positive at the mine, and by July we'll be at cash flow positive in the company once we get to 4,000 ounces per month. These are my shiny new yellow toys that arrived in April. These are the ones coming in July, because what happened is the development is in solid granite diorite, but we're mining within a shear zone, and when we're in there, typically for every attack ramp we have four stopes, east and west, and the hanging wall and footwall, and typically like one of those stopes will be too skinny for our current equipment. So with the skinnier equipment, we'll be able to mine that fourth stope with no extra development. So that'll help us with our tonnage and grade in July also. And we're getting new cement trucks. So what we do is we loose fill the stopes with our backfill, and then we put a thin layer of tailings mixed with just 3% cement on top of that. And we pump it to a bay underground, and then these trucks deliver it to the stopes. It's given us a lot more stability in those stopes, and also helped with when we were on our second blast. We do cut and fill when we're in our other than the first blast where you're on solid rock. When you're on the second to 10th blast, you're above loose rock fill. So we're losing some of the high grade fines in there. Putting this thin layer of cement on top prevents that from happening. So blue is the development that we had in 2016, and then red is in 2017. So you see the massive improvement we've had in development. This has given us access now to 40, depending at the time, 40 to 50 faces in current production. This is our reserves from our feasibility study, and this is what we did over the last year. That's the development, and we've infill drilled beneath that now. So that lowest decline there is at 200 meters, and we've actually drilled below that. So now we have drilling outside of our current resource and reserves, which were already giving us an 8-year mine life. So that was very nice to happen. We knew that it was there because we had loose centers of drilling, but nice to have it on 10-meter centers, so we're for sure it's reserves. This is just the stopes that we're mining today. Here's the development plan for the stopes in April, May, and June. And this is some of the drill results that we had below the current operations from the 200 level. So lots of them are a lot higher than our 4.5 gram mine life grade. So one of them, for example, was 4 meters of 20 grams, versus 2 meters of 4 or 5 grams. This is the exploration ground. So the star there is our plant. The red line is the shear zone we're currently mining. Each of these black dots is actually an historic mine. So we have in the oxide. So the top 50 meters is oxidized saprolite. And there were 4,000 historic mines that we mapped on this property. The blue outlines are open pits from Spanish times, and the pink is anomalous gold from our geochem. So we put a road over to those western targets now, and we drilled some last year, and we had some really exciting results. So that's the idea, is to build one of those into a mine and ship it to the plant, truck it to the plant. It's only a few kilometers away. But this is anomalous potassium. You see it overlays that anomalous gold, almost identical. This is some of those results. So over there, we're not in a shear zone, we're in the granite diorite. So we've got 30 to 60 grams per ton is when we intercepted the veins there. And we've got hundreds of parallel veins there. So each of those blue lines is a vein, and each of the red dots is an historic mine. And the last slide, because I'm going to get dirty looks in a minute, is our Vetus in California project. So there's already between the two of them, about 100,000 meters of drilling in them. And our plan is to, now that we've just purchased the remainder of the company that held these, so we own 100% now, is to start developing this as our second project. So you've got a 65,000 ounce gold mine to start. We have the capacity to double that with satellite deposits. And then we have capacity to build another mine in Colombia with a central processing facility for both the Vetus and California projects. And that's it. Thank you, everybody.